Joel Gilbert joins us. He's got There's No Place Like Utopia. The trailer's up on Infowars.com, and we're going to show some of the trailer while he's talking, and then when he leaves us, we'll also show it. I have no stake in this trailer, in this film. I intend to sell it on DVD when it comes out. He's an excellent filmmaker. He exposed the origins, the true origins of Obama like nobody else. He's an original researcher. Dr. Jerome Corsi and others are in the film. And it needs to get sold out in the cities it opens in so that other theaters will then pick it up so that we can expose what collectivism does. That's why I have activists and filmmakers on and don't just promote ourselves. I didn't sell or plug one thing last hour, even though that's how we fund ourselves. Infowarsstore.com. PrisonPlanet.tv memberships. But I'm having somebody on. I'm not saying I'm some great guy. We do this because we're all in this together. They're scared of these films. They arrested Dinesh D'Souza because they were scared of his films. They've indicted and arrested Rick Perry because they're scared of him. Not that he's perfect, but at least he's trying to secure the border. I've been a big critic of Perry. The point is they're coming after everybody, folks, because we do have a shot. There is a purge going on. There is an attempt to end talk radio's freedom. There is an attempt to come in with internet censorship. Now let's go to Joel Gilbert, joining us, the filmmaker with There's No Place Like Utopia. Joel, so much is going on right now. Tell us about where the film's opening, what's going on with that, but then your take on our government openly funding ISIS, the craziness that's going on. I mean, it's just getting so bizarre right now.
Well, unfortunately, it's all quite predictable. I'll tell you first, There's No Place Like Utopia. We opened in Denver a month ago, sold out everything. Now we're in 3 theaters in the Houston area. Anybody can please come out this weekend on Fandango. You can get tickets in advance. What we're seeing playing out is the socialist Marxist ideology that has permeated and taken over the Democrat Party over the past 20, 30 years. And this is covered in There's No Place Like Utopia. And most people don't realize that the Democrat Party, even well-meaning liberals, don't accept or understand it's been taken over by these radicals. And today it is a radical socialist party. Now, the Marxists and Islamists have been natural allies for the past 60, 70 years.
Absolutely. I have Democrats and ISIS people constantly threatening us now, saying, how dare you not love ISIS? I mean, this is crazy.
Well, let me tell you what they have in common. Both of them are universalist movements. Both Islam and Marxism believe that one day the entire world will be Marxist or Islamist. Marxists believe that they can create a utopia here on earth, paradise on earth, with the leader of the socialist paradise, the God on earth. The only difference is that Islamists are a little more patient. They want to create and go to paradise in the next world. But in the meantime, they're allies because they both view Western capitalism, Western free market system, free speech, as the #1 obstacle to their taking power. And therefore, they are together in targeting free speech, free markets, because they know if they can defeat it, it'll be their path to taking power.
Well, I'll say this. I'm all for free speech, and I'm not what they call an Islamophobe. But our government's working with the radical Muslims that are bullying and killing the non-radical Muslims. You're not allowed to criticize Islam in England. You get arrested or you get banned from flying in. They are now banning mainline people from England who just mildly criticize radical Islam while they let radical Islamists be on TV calling for blowing up government buildings. So clearly the socialist government in England has totally teamed up with the Islamists. It really has happened.
Right. What they've done essentially is they use Soviet-era censorship. Sometimes we call it political correctness, but it really is getting to a level of Soviet censorship to prevent people from opposing them. This is the vision of utopia on earth, where everyone thinks the same, looks the same, lives the same. Essentially, we're all animals in a cage, and they have a police force which forces people to go to work, because otherwise no one will work. And they use Soviet-style disinformation. There's no question that all we get out of the White House is disinformation from the Soviet era. And unemployment, 6%. Anybody believe that? Unaccompanied minors coming over the border, all a big lie. Everything coming out of the White House is a lie. And what we defeated in the Soviet system, unfortunately, today in America, it exists.
Continue breaking that down.
Well, Obama took power in the classical socialist Marxist methodology. He said that he was going to cut the deficit in half. He's going to bring people together, most transparent government in history. He took power with the big lie. He also lied about who he was. I've chronicled that his real father, of course, was the Soviet agent and communist propagandist Frank Marshall Davis, the man who indoctrinated him, and he admits raised him into this Marxist ideology.
I mean, he stayed with him on the summers. There's photos of his mother on the couch with him. I mean, it really is. It is his dad.
Look, he lied about the biology. That's bad enough. But he did so to hide the fact that he was indoctrinated by Davis into this radical Marxist anti-white ideology. Everything Obama has done is to hide his connection to Davis because it would reveal an agenda that is unacceptable to the American people. So just like Fidel Castro said, we've got Castro on tape. I believe in representative democracy. Even Adolf Hitler, he became a big Democrat. Once these guys take power, they pursue the original agenda and then they use the tools of state, like the IRS. There is no IRS targeting scandal. It's the White House Democrat Party targeting scandal. They use the tools of state to disenfranchise and suppress any opposition, to keep a permanent hold on power.
And notice they never get in trouble now. They just get away with everything.
Oh yeah, because they got away with Fast and Furious, they just try the next thing. They get away with Benghazi. They get away with the IRS targeting. There's been no real force to push back and stop them. There's no reason for them not to do the next outrage because there's no opposition, unfortunately.
Have you run into censorship with your film? Because usually when a film starts selling out in theaters, it gets picked up more places. How do we get your film everywhere?
Well, the censorship I've run into is, of course, I've had the IRS send me a letter about once a week for the past 2 years demanding something, and I've just been beating them back. I take it almost as a comedy routine. I haven't paid them a dime, but they're always after me. Of course, we've been denied advertising time in Denver and in places in Houston. Mostly NBC affiliates won't take our money.
Wow.
And that's been chronicled in WorldNet Daily. And, you know, we're just going to keep pushing forward. The way to get people out on the website, there's no place like utopia.com. You can hit the theaters link, and if you click on the link, bring There's No Place Like Utopia to my town, that really helps us when we expand. We send that out to all the
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, think about how far gone our country is, that you're being censored everywhere, and can't even advertise your film. I mean, our country is already so far down the rat hole. Don't take this show for granted, folks. We might not be here tomorrow. Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for truth seekers. We've carried a lot of amazing films and books over the years on the online video bookstore at Infowars.com. And out of all the titles we've carried, one stands out because it is just so chillingly convincing. And that's Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert, available at Infowars.com. This film exposes the fraud that Obama is like nothing I've seen. If you want to know who Obama's real daddy is, this is the film for you. Don't forget, your purchase supports our broadcast and our growing media network. You'll also find at InfoWarsShop.com, None Dare Call a Conspiracy by Gary Allen, the book that woke me up. We're also carrying Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21 by Rosa Corey. This book is coffin nails to the globalist takeover. The Greater Good, the most professional and up-to-date film I've ever seen exposing the scourge that is vaccines. These titles and a lot more are all available at InfoWarsShop.com. A decade ago, people would have been up in arms over the news media, the news stations refusing the advertising for a documentary film when the ad, I've seen the ad, it's very tame. Now, most TV stations, radio stations, print, especially banks, won't take your business or let you operate if you have a gun shop. Even big sporting goods stores are having their accounts canceled. This is what Hitler did from 1933 to 1939 before he started actually arresting people, is that they start economically doing this and censoring you. And so a microcosm of this film that Joel Gilbert's produced, There's No Place Like Utopia.com's the website, shows how far down this totalitarian utopian hellhole we've gotten, Joel. Joel, other points about the film and where you see the world right now. Obama has like a 37% Gallup, one of the lowest ever for a president. But still, he just doesn't care. He moves forward in an authoritarian way, says he'll sign executive orders that have never been done on military, on borders, on energy. He is setting the precedent that presidents are elected dictators.
Well, Obama is a professional agitator. He was brought into Chicago by Bill Ayer's father to become a community agitator. The word organizer was just a nice way to put it. It's to rub salt in the wounds of minorities and then use their discontent to take power. That's the written ideology. That's what he's doing in the White House. Everything he's done is meant to agitate and divide the country economically and by race so they can promise people, give us the power and we'll make it right for you. I did experience going to, in the film, I went to Detroit, Southside Chicago, Newark, all these progressive cities that have been controlled by Democrats for 50, 60 years, and they've got 60% unemployment, drug culture, taxation, no jobs. These people have been regressing all these years, not progressing. But I did find some inspiration. You'll see that in the film. When you talk to these people, they're like, they want nothing to do with this progressive agenda. No amnesty for illegals, no marijuana. The most conservative people today in America, believe it or not, are black women living in these cities. They're very tough. They just need the Republicans to communicate to them and let them know that there's a choice.
Well, Joel, did you see how California now is going to give free marijuana to the homeless to basically suppress them? Again, I'm for decriminalization, but it doesn't mean that I then endorse the doper head mentality. And, yeah, and clearly George Soros wants everybody smoking super high-powered weed, so they're all zombies. And when you look, how do you fix this problem?
Well,
go ahead.
A drug culture is much easier to control and enslave. The idea of, I was in Colorado and Denver, we went to some of these marijuana clinics, and these people are smoking dope on the street, driving, smoking dope, and they don't care about politics. They don't even remember what day is election day. And these people are very easy to control. So California is running amok with our, Governor Moonbeam from the 70s. He's back with more of this nonsense. And it's going to take a grassroots movement in America and a Republican opposition to really draw a line in the sand.
And I want to explain why we got to take the Republicans over here briefly. After they implode Michigan, implode California, implode New York, implode Florida, the Democrats then move to constitutional states that are wealthy and successful like Texas, and they don't change. They then wreck that state. I'm living under this now. And so they've got to be stopped or they will destroy the whole country. They move like locusts from field to field.
I think they can be defeated if the Republicans make the argument, even in the inner cities, that you can choose American values, free markets, free speech, opportunity and prosperity, or you're on the progressive road to hell. If they make that argument, they win.
What do you do, though, about the Republican leadership being just as bad as the Democrats?
That's the big challenge right now. The Democrats are so bankrupt of ideas, and they're such failures and such liars that it really doesn't take much to turn it around. And we don't have, unfortunately, on the other side, a leader has not yet come forward who has the courage to tell the truth and tell it like it is to the American people.
Well, there's no doubt that socialism has collapsed Latin America, and now it's here. And I hope everyone will go see the film. I can't wait till the DVD's out. I want to sell it. How long until we're going to get a DVD release?
DVD release is December 1st, but we're going to give you probably 3 or 4 weeks in advance to sell some out. You'll even see in the film, I talked to some illegals from Guatemala, El Salvador. We said, why are you here? And they said, because socialism destroyed our country. So they're here to get away from socialism. They don't know what's in store for them, apparently.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know a lot of folks I talked to from Latin America hate socialism, but then to get the free goodies, they'll vote for the most hardcore Democrat. It's just crazy. All right, Joel Gilbert, thank you so much. And again, people can find the film, how to get it in their local theater. There's no place like Utopia.com. Great job, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
You bet. Alex Jones here for Infowars.com. We're going to be intensifying our efforts to awaken free humanity to the scourge of the globalist in the month of July. And starting this July 4th, we are going to slash prices in a celebration of true Americana, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence on all of the Made in America products that you will find at madein1776.com or InfoWarsStore.com. We're talking about Made in America belt buckles in brass and nickeled brass that state it loud and proud. Molon Labe. That's why we have the best-selling Made in America men's and women's Molon Labe Infowars.com shirts. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a win-win. You vote with your dollars. You support the most hardcore organization out there for promoting true ideas of libertarianism, constitutionalism, basic human empowerment. But more importantly, you get T-shirts and belt buckles so you can meet like-minded people. So you have a conversation starter with friends and family and coworkers. We are reaching out to each other. And you also throw it in the face of the anti-gunners and the rest of the parasites out there that you're a free man and woman and that you're not going to be a slave, that you're not going to be intimidated to shut up by their tyranny that they call political correctness. That's why in the month of July, we have got giant specials on everything at madein1776.com. But to expand the InfoWar, we're offering the biggest special in the history, 13 years of PrisonPlanet.tv, our multimedia platform. We're offering the equivalent of more than 5 months free right now when you get a membership at PrisonPlanet.tv, and you get 11 memberships that can be used with the same username and passcode so you can share it with friends and family. Now is the time to fund the war bonds. Now is the time to fund the InfoWar. Now is the time to get aggressive. Now is the time to double down. Now is the time to realize you are the people that made the InfoWar so successful and one of the leading lights worldwide against tyranny. You don't stand behind us, you stand right beside us, and I salute all of you on this July 4th, 2014, and going forward in the month of July and onward. This is about freedom worldwide and that desire for human dignity and self-determination that beats in the human breast. We are brothers and sisters together in the true spirit of liberty and the animating contest of liberty. And so I quote in closing the great Thomas Jefferson that I have sworn on the altar of God resistance against every form of tyranny. And never forget, if you are watching or listening to this transmission, you are the resistance.